I decided to do something a little different. Not really that different, but for those of you who don't know, DC Comics have their streaming service, DC Universe, where, of course, one of their features is that they make original TV shows. And one of those shows just premiered the other day, Swamp Thing. Now, I love the character Swamp Thing, as you may remember from my review of the early 1980s Swamp Thing film. So I decided once the episode premieres, I take the next day to talk about it just a little bit. So let's get started. So this TV show version of Swamp Thing focuses more on Abby Arcane, a young CDC doctor who returns back to her hometown in Louisiana, Mays. I don't quite know how to pronounce the town's name correctly, but it's a swamp town, basically. And of course, she comes back. She, of course, has some bad history with us, with the town, more specifically in terms to the fact that she is somehow partly responsible for the death of a girl who was her friend, who was also the daughter of the Sunderland parents, the father Avery Sunderland. Now, Avery Sunderland is a character pulled from the comics, but I'll probably just not talk about him for this episode right now, since it's more focused on Abby Arcane and on Alec Holland. Now, Alec Holland has been working in this town for the past several months, working for Avery Sunderland, although it does appear that he was apparently fired a couple weeks ago. But he's trying to figure out how the unusual skyrocketing growth in the plant life in the swamp is somehow connected to a new disease that has come to this town, which is the reason Abby Arcane comes back to her hometown to figure out what kind of disease is starting up in her home. And of course, she and Alec get a little bit friendly, close, and we do get some entertaining, like, super growth plant life, like some scary, like, kind of gothic horror kind of stuff going on with that. Of course, it's CGI. It's not perfect, of course. This is an DC Universe original TV show. It can only be good to a certain extent, but it was entertaining to watch on screen. And of course, my favorite scene of this premiere episode was, of course, the accident with Alec Holland and the transformation into Swamp Thing. Now, the atmosphere, as I mentioned, is a little bit of a gothic horror so far, and it is very perfect for what they're going for with the show. It does fit very well with the Alan Moore run. So, I am very interested to see where this goes. Now, of course, the Alan Moore run, like I said, finally introduced the fact that Swamp Thing is more mystical than scientific in nature. I won't really spoil the details on that whole explanation, but for this TV show, I think they're going to start off with the fact they're going to think that everything is scientifically explained, but then as more episodes go on, it's far more mystical, far more supernatural, and that the weird stuff that's going on in town, most likely caused by Avery Sunderland, because in the comics he's actually the bad guy, has caused the more supernatural force responsible for the creation of Swamp Thing to respond and, in a way, find a host or avatar that will help bring balance for the swamp and to find revenge / justice against Avery Sunderland. Now, like I said before, this is so far I love the atmosphere that they have set up for the show so far. I can't wait to see them do more with this. And I love Crystal Reed as Abby Arcane. Now, in terms of like hair color, I kind of wish they went with the original comics, but it is more important to get down the personality of a character. And I think they do that extremely well. Alec Holland as the human before the transformation, he's good. He's pretty good. He's interesting. We get to know enough about him, but it is merely more focused on Abby Arcane since she will be really the main character we're focused on, at least for this first season, I'm assuming. Plus, with Swamp Thing, he starts off not really being able to talk at all to like barely managing to be able to talk. So it makes sense we have to stick with an actual human character as the protagonist for right now, anyway. Anyway, I am super stoked to see what they have next for the next episode. And I want more. I really do want more. That's really all I have right now on the premiere of Swamp Thing. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys next time.